And welcome to the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is, of course, right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hampton Mike, along with my partner, Brian the Ranger Tard, bringing you another NFL special, 32 NFL fans, 32 NFL teams. Boy, this wasn't as easy as we thought, was it?
No.
That's okay. We're going to keep the pace going. We're going to sneak up to the NFC North to a team where they have a player that has the kick heard around the world. That's right. We're going to talk a little bit of Blair Walsh. I don't know if he's going to want to, but we're going to see. Local guy from the New Jersey area. We're going to talk to Kenny Jones, Minnesota Vikings fan. Kenny, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hey, bud. How you doing?
Oh, man, tell you what, Kenny, we bring nothing but freaking winners in here. How can I be any better? It's just unbelievable.
Go Skull.
Attaboy. All right. Hey, Brian, stat me. Let's go.
Minnesota Vikings. So, last year they did go 11-5, winning the NFC North first place. They did, as Mike mentioned or alluded to, lost in the wild card round in the home game to the Seattle Seahawks.
Sorry, Blair.
Offensively last year, they were pretty one-dimensional. They were 4th in rushing, which is great, but 31st in passing, not so much. Defensively, they were 17th against the run and 12th against the pass. In an effort to address that passing offense being so putrid last year, they went with Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, with a 23rd overall pick. He might have gone higher, so the Vikings got good value here. They did add Alex Boone and Michael Griffin through free agency. They did lose Mike Wallace. Nobody seems to care about that. As Kenny and all Vikings fans will remember, the 27-yard field goal attempt that went wide left is going to live in infamy for many, many years. But there is a reason for excitement in Minnesota this year. They're going to be opening their new stadium, US Bank Stadium, after spending a few years playing at the home of the Golden Gophers.
That's true.
AP, another great year for the Vikings, but one has to wonder how much longer he can do that. He's been doing it for quite some time without a whole lot of help. They rely on him quite a bit. They did look, again, to give Teddy Bridgewater some help with Laquan Treadwell, which, again, was good value for where they got him. There was a run of receivers in the draft, and that's what the Vikings ended up getting. The division they're in is not overly difficult outside of Green Bay. I think that, the Bears and the Lions are what they are. So, Kenny, I have to ask you, what did you break last year when that kick went wide left?
I put a hole in the wall.
Nice.
Attaboy.
Nice.
Yeah,
absolutely put a hole in the wall. It was deja vu all over again.
Yeah, of all
Gary Anderson flashback. It was horrible.
Listen,
Gary Anderson kick out.
That's a tortured fan base out there. So, Kenny, in the open, we talked about the fact that the offense was really one-dimensional. I mean, they were really, really good running the ball, but really not at all good passing the ball. Even with an up year from Stephon Diggs, who kind of came out of nowhere to play really well. I know.
Well, I have to disagree with you, because you said they were one-dimensional, but Teddy Bridgewater did exactly what he was asked to do, and that was manage the football team.
That's true.
You're true.
I know everybody says manage. It's a bad thing, but Dave Manning was a manager. He threw the deep ball, and Teddy Bridgewater, now with Tony Soprano in there as the offensive line coach, I think that we'll be situated, and Teddy will be able to throw the ball a little deeper this year and open up a little bit more for Adrian Peterson.
Well, they did get Laquan Treadwell. I know Cordero Patterson did not pan out at all for what people thought he was going to be. Do you think they kind of take the training wheels off Bridgewater this year and let him, do a little more with his arm? I
do. I think that with Tony Soprano in there, with Boone coming in, I think it's going to help out. Our offensive line was the worst in the league last year, no doubt about it. Bridgewater was the quarterback that was sacked the most, pressured the most. So once our offensive line is straight, which should be this year, it's going to be a totally different Bridgewater.
And coming off of what Brian said in the opener about Adrian Peterson, how much longer he's going to do it, you bring up the offensive line. That's something I think they got to address for two reasons. One, you have an aging back in Adrian Peterson. Yeah, he is getting it done now, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down, but let's face it, in the NFL, running back's shelf life isn't that long, especially the mileage that he's getting. I mean, he's going to have to slow down at some point. And then the other sense is you're going to pay a lot of money for Teddy Bridgewater. He's your future. He's the man you put your money into. You got to protect those two assets.
I think that Adrian Peterson has another 3 years left in his tank, and the guy to look for this year, put it on your fantasy books there, is Jared McKinnon to come out of the backfield, catch passes, and run for third downs. and get that first.
I will agree with Brian as well with the Treadwell pick. I think that was a hell of a pick for Washington for him to slide down.
Treadwell?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a very good player in the upcoming years.
Yeah,
Treadwell will, everybody talks about Wiles. Even when Wiles thought that he couldn't even catch a 10-yard pass, he would drop it.
Yeah, and he wasn't going on 60 minutes. He wasn't going on 60 minutes either, but that's not whole story.
So I think one surprise around the league is that Blair Walsh is still on the roster.
I'm not surprised that Blair Walsh is still on the roster.
You're not surprised.
Only because, you know what, the guy was the best kicker in the NFL.
Absolutely.
He missed the kick.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking, but you know what? I can guarantee next year we won't even have to worry about being a field goal that we got to win a game by.
And that's the thing too. I mean, to talk it from my experience as a college kicker, high school kicker, here's a guy who was solid most of his career. I mean, if I could look back, I don't think there was any year that really Blair Walsh had a year that you could say, my God, he's terrible. I mean, he's been a solid, consistent NFL kicker. And just, unfortunately, the one kick that would have gotten Minnesota, you know, the dream of the
it's
old
like Gary Anderson. He didn't miss one all year.
Yeah, and then he missed an extra point.
This is the game to go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
It's a chit shot, and we miss it.
Yep.
And we don't. And that's our, that's what's happened.
It's hard not to lay it.
Twice, but.
Yeah. It's hard not to lay that at his feet considering he's a professional and all he does is kick. But, again, that's something that I think, you move on from with Blair Walsh. And just like you said, you don't have to worry about the kicking position in Minnesota this year.
But what'll make his job easier is the new building. So they're not going to be outdoors anymore. It's a beautiful new facility from everything that I've seen.
Yeah.
You got to wonder if that game was played in that building last year, might that have been a different ending.
I think that our defense this year will be. We were ranked number 5 last year. We have one of the youngest teams in the NFL, and I think our defense is just going to be spot on this year. Zimmer got a new contract extension. I think that our defense will be top ranked this year.
And that was my question coming to the defensive side. You just pretty much answered it. I think that the Minnesota Vikings are a young defense. They were highly ranked last year. I think they even go up higher than they were last year because of the depth that they have on defense. I think their secondary is solid. Our
linebackers are unbelievable.
I was going to say your main strength is linebacker, and that's the reason why in the last couple of years, if you look at stats, not a lot of teams run on the Vikings. I mean, you want to try to throw on them, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do, but nobody really runs on the Vikings with that. And like you said, Zimmerman has really helped them out tremendously with the coaching ability he had. I mean, that was an asset. They knew to lock him up. So,
I think that we're one of the youngest teams. So if you're going to go off of we're not an old team. We're young and we're only going to get better. And as with Zimmerman being there, going into his 3rd year, he's going to be awesome. He's only made our team better since he's been there. Unity, continuity, everything is going the way that it should go. And I think this year, there's possibility.
From what you've seen so far in Teddy Bridgewater's career, do you have the confidence? Now, again, Minnesota for many years has not really been a place where they've been able to grow their own quarterbacks. You think back to Christian Ponder most recently, just did not pan out. A high pick was used on him. From what you've seen out of Bridgewater, can he be the centerpiece of that team for a decade?
Yes. I absolutely believe that he can be. But it all comes down to the offense. It comes down to protection.
Right.
Everybody got on Teddy. Oh, he throws the ball late. He doesn't throw the ball late. When he's got to run around and save his life, it's going to be late. And if you want Teddy to throw a 10-yard for a first down, he was the most consistent. There's a lot of stats out there that nobody realizes that he is one of the most consistent quarterbacks out there. Everybody wants somebody to be a quarterback that can throw the deep ball every time, like Aaron Rodgers, which is going to come to an end pretty soon anyway. But if you want consistency, you go with Teddy Bridgewater. Game manager, however you want to break it down, the kid is spot on and did what he was asked to do.
Now, Kenny, the last thing for me is we get to the schedule, and I'm looking at 2 spots of the schedule where the Vikings really need to make some headway, and then at the end of the year is going to be a hell of a challenge. Coming off the bye week in October, they play the Eagles, definitely winnable game. I think they go to Chicago, definitely winnable game, and I think Detroit, definitely winnable game. The games that I'm looking at that are going to be possibly the turnstile of this team, or where they go, are the last 4 out of 5 games of the season. You're looking at Dallas, even at home. Dallas is going to be tough at that point if Romo's still around. You got Jacksonville on the road. You got.
I disagree.
Okay, that's fine. You got Jacksonville, you got Indianapolis, and you got Green Bay. I think they're all going to be tough games for the Vikings. I'm not saying the Vikings are going to lose all those games. I'm just saying that's a stretch where they've really got to come to play in those 4 games.
The 2 games that I think they're going to have trouble with are the Arizona Cardinals, which I'm going to, which is yay for me, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that they'll lose to Green Bay one time, but other than that, I think that they'll have 3 losses for the season.
Well, the good thing for them is, I mean, they are getting Arizona at home. If you look at some of their more difficult out-of-division games, you know, they're getting the teams in Minnesota. You look at a team like Houston. You're looking at a team, again, Arizona. Those are out-of-division games that, at least if you're going to have to play those games, you get to play them in your own building.
Right.
So it's much better than going there.
This year is going to be an awesome year. We're in a new building, top-of-the-line stadium.
That's beautiful.
Which is... the only 2 games that I was worried about, like I said, were Jacksonville. 3 games. I know we're going to split with Green Bay and Arizona.
Okay.
I'm not worried about Carolina. Carolina was a fluke last year, I think, and they will not be anywhere near what they were last year.
We will see. Well, that's all the time we have for Minnesota. We want to thank local guy Kenny Jones popping on the line and talking Vikings with us. Kenny, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. We got your name and number, so now, Kenny, something happens during the year with the Vikings, we're definitely going to give you a call, get you back on the sports box. Is that a good deal?
Awesome. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you very much, Ken. So that's all the time that's all the time we have for Sports Box today. Keep an eye out. We got some good things coming.
Make sure you're following us on Twitter at SportsBox Show. Share your feedback, share your thoughts, and let us know what you want the Sports Box to cover.
And remember, I've said it 4,000 times. I'll say it another 8,000 times. The only opinion that matters is right here. That's right. Thanks for watching. See you.
Get that subscribe.